Welcome, football fans, to this NFL Week 15 preview and predictions on Tim Reynolds Show. As we see Week 15 getting kicked off on Thursday Night Football, where we will see the Los Angeles Rams taking on the San Francisco 49ers. And we see San Francisco comes into this matchup as a 3-point favorite. But look out for this high-powered Los Angeles Rams offense after they scored 44 points in a shootout last week against the Buffalo Bills. We see running back Kyren Williams has been the focal point of this high-powered offense, as he has over 1,000 yards rushing and 12 rushing touchdowns, which is tied for third in the NFL. But look out for San Francisco's offense, as quarterback Brock Purdy had his best game of the season last week, throwing for over 300 yards and 3 touchdown passes, and tight end George Kittle has been the focal point of this San Francisco offense, especially with all the injuries that they've been dealing at the running back position and in total for the San Francisco 49ers team, as the injury report has offensive tackle Trent Williams and defensive lineman Nick Bosa, who are both out for this Thursday Night Football game. And because of that, I think the Los Angeles Rams will get the victory on Thursday Night Football, as Tim Reynolds Show is predicting that the Rams beat the San Francisco 49ers to kick off Week 15 on Thursday Night Football. Up next to kick off the Sunday slate, we see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to take on the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Chargers open up as a 3-point favorite in this matchup, as both teams come in dealing with a lot of injuries, as both of their injury reports are full in this matchup, especially for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on defense and for the Los Angeles Chargers on offense, as they have 3 wide receivers questionable for this game. But look out for the running game to be a focal point for both of these teams in this matchup, especially with the Chargers having a very stingy defense of their own. But look for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to lean on running back Rachaad White and their running game on offense to help them get the victory in this one, as Tim Reynolds Show is predicting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will get the victory over the Los Angeles Chargers, especially with running back Bucky Irving being questionable heading into this matchup. I believe running back Rachaad White will be the focal point of this offense. Next up, we got the Buffalo Bills traveling to take on the Detroit Lions in one of the better matchups of Week 15. And after the Buffalo Bills came off of a huge shootout loss against the Los Angeles Rams, 44-42, we see them heading into this matchup against the Detroit Lions that are hampered, especially with a lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball. So I expect quarterback Josh Allen to have a big game in this matchup, as he's looking like the MVP in the 2024 NFL season. But don't count out this Detroit Lions team, as we see right now Detroit comes in as a 2.5-point favorite in this matchup, as Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery have been dominating in this running attack for the Detroit Lions offense, and quarterback Jared Goff already has 25 touchdown passes and over 3,000 yards passing on the year, as he'll look to get Amon-Ra St. Brown involved more in this matchup, as he's already got 9 receiving touchdowns on the year. And Tim Reynolds Show is predicting that the Detroit Lions will get the victory in this one. I believe that the Buffalo Bills are still trying to get things put together on their defense, especially scrambling after last week's loss. And I expect the Detroit Lions team, who are coming in here hot, to stay hot and get the victory in here, especially being the home team in Week 15. Next, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to take on the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 5-1 at home and 11-2 on the season. But this Pittsburgh Steelers team comes into this matchup at 10-3 and 5-2 on the road. But we see Philadelphia is actually the favorite in this matchup at 5.5-point spread. And we see the Pittsburgh Steelers offense comes into this matchup without their top wide receiver target, as wide receiver George Pickens is questionable, but more likely doubtful for this matchup with the hamstring injury that he's been dealing with since last week. And we see in this particular matchup, the Philadelphia Eagles have been dealing with a lot of drama heading into this game, as they're looking to get the passing offense going with quarterback Jalen Hurts and wide receiver A.J. Brown trying to get on the same page. But it's been MVP candidate Saquon Barkley and the running attack that's been dominant for the Philadelphia Eagles all season long. And I'm thinking that that's definitely going to be key in this one. But I'm rolling with the upset here, as Tim Reynolds Show is predicting the Pittsburgh Steelers get the victory here in Week 15 over the Philadelphia Eagles, as I believe there's just too much drama and too much dysfunction going on with this Philadelphia Eagles team, and I think Pittsburgh's going to take advantage of that, especially with the tough defense that they have over there for the Steelers. Next, we see the Cincinnati Bengals at 5-8 traveling to take on the 3-10 Tennessee Titans, and Cincinnati comes into this matchup as 5-point favorites in this spread that we see is at 46.5 points, and I expect this Cincinnati Bengals team to continue the hot streak they're on, especially on offense, as quarterback Joe Burrow is leading the league in passing yards and passing touchdowns with 33 on the year, and wide receiver Jamar Chase is the top wide receiver in the league right now with over 1,300 yards receiving and 15 receiving touchdowns as they go up against a very good Tennessee Titans defense. But the offense for Tennessee has been the problem all year long. But the one bright spot has been running back Tony Pollard, who's close to breaking 1,000 yards rushing for the season, as they'll look to lean on him and the running game if they want any chance in this one, and also the defense. But Tim Reynolds Show is predicting that the Cincinnati Bengals will get the victory here in Week 15 as they're fighting for their playoff hopes and chances. Next, we see the Baltimore Ravens at 8-5 traveling to take on the 2-11 New York Giants, who are 0-7 at home heading into this matchup against a Ravens team that is a 16-point favorite in this matchup. And I expect this Baltimore Ravens offense coming off of a bye to continue to stay hot as the best offense in the NFL, with MVP candidates at the quarterback position and quarterback Lamar Jackson, and at the running back position with running back Derrick Henry having over 1,400 yards rushing and 13 rushing TDs, and Lamar's got 29 TD passes with only 3 interceptions. And I think the Ravens are going to dominate this matchup going up against a New York Giants football team that is just in complete disarray and has not even won a game at home this season, as I expect the Baltimore Ravens to improve to 9-5 as Tim Reynolds Show is predicting the Ravens get the victory here in Week 15. Next, we see the Washington Commanders traveling to take on the New Orleans Saints, and we see Washington opens up as a 7.5-point favorite in this matchup in Week 15, and this Saints football team has been playing better as of late, especially on the defensive side and special teams, but they go up against a Commanders offense led by Rookie of the Year candidate quarterback Jalen Daniels, who's been playing really good ball this season, controlling the offense and getting the ball to his number one target, Terry McLaurin, who's close to breaking 1,000 yards receiving this season and has 9 receiving touchdowns. And I look for this Commanders offense to really be able to score points against this Saints defense, as I am predicting on Tim Reynolds Show that the Washington Commanders get the victory here in Week 15 to help improve their playoff chances in the 2024 NFL season. Up next on this Sunday slate, we see the Indianapolis Colts at 6-7 traveling to take on the 8-5 Denver Broncos. And we see this Broncos team finds themselves in a wild card spot right now in the playoff standings, heading into this matchup against the Indianapolis Colts team that's also fighting for their playoff lives, as they're just outside of a wild card spot heading into this Week 15 matchup. But the Denver Broncos have found their quarterback, as rookie quarterback Bo Nix is starting to really play better as of late in this Broncos offense. But it's the defense for the Denver Broncos that has been dominant thus far in the 2024 NFL season, as one of the best units right now in the NFL, going up against an Indianapolis Colts team led by quarterback Anthony Richardson, who's starting to get his groove in this Colts offense. But it's been the running game with Jonathan Taylor that's been all the difference, trying to take the pressure off of the quarterback's shoulders. But in this matchup, we see the Denver Broncos are a 4-point favorite, and Tim Reynolds Show is predicting that the Denver Broncos get the victory here because they're the home team and the better defense in this matchup. I believe that's going to make the difference here, as I believe the Denver Broncos will get the victory. Next, the Kansas City Chiefs travel to take on the Cleveland Browns, and KC comes into this matchup as a 4.5-point favorite after clinching their 9th straight division title in the AFC West last week. We see them going into this matchup against a Cleveland Browns team that's been eliminated from the 2024 playoffs. But look out for this offense, as quarterback Jameis Winston, since he became the starter, we've seen this offense break out, especially from wide receiver Jerry Jeudy, who, as he's become the number one target in this offense for the Cleveland Browns, but they go up against a very tough Kansas City Chiefs defense that's been carrying this team all year long, and I expect this offense for KC to start getting things going a little bit more with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, the tight end, trying to build their connection up as they go into this matchup against an inconsistent Cleveland Browns team. I'm predicting here on Tim Reynolds Show that the Kansas City Chiefs will get the victory against the Cleveland Browns. Next up, we see the Miami Dolphins traveling to take on the Houston Texans, and at 6-7, this Dolphins team is fighting for their 2024 playoff hopes as they need to win out and get some help in order for them to make the playoffs this season, as quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is finding his groove, and this Miami Dolphins offense is cooking, especially after a walk-off overtime victory last week as they finally got all-pro wide receiver Tyreek Hill really going in this offense, but they go up against a Houston Texans team that's leaning on the running game as running back Joe Mixon has 11 rushing TDs on the year, and this Houston Texans team has a tough defense as head coach DeMeco Ryans always has these boys ready to play, and we see the Houston Texans open up as 3-point favorites in this matchup in Week 15, but Tim Reynolds Show is predicting the Miami Dolphins continue their winning ways and get the victory here to get to 500. Up next, we see the New York Jets traveling to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we see the New York team opens up as a 3.5-point favorite in this matchup of two 3-win teams, and we see Jacksonville got their first win in a while last week against the Tennessee Titans. Can they take that win and build some momentum heading into this matchup as they'll lean on the running game for this Jaguars offense going up against a New York Jets defense that you would think would be one of the better units in the league, but just hasn't been this year. But look out for this Jets offense as quarterback Aaron Rodgers had his first 300-yard passing game last week, getting both wide receiver Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams really involved in the game plan, and I expect that to continue going up against a Jacksonville Jaguars defense that has just not been very good this season. And Tim Reynolds Show is predicting that the New York Jets get the victory here on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 15. Then on Sunday Night Football, we see a banger with the Green Bay Packers at 9-4 traveling to take on the 8-5 Seattle Seahawks, and we see Green Bay opens up as a 3-point favorite in this matchup, but Seattle has the home field advantage, and we will see the Seahawks look to take advantage of that as quarterback Geno Smith has almost 3,500 yards passing this season, but he'll have to look to keep the turnovers down and lean on this running game, because when the Seattle Seahawks are able to run the ball, they're able to play good defense and have a better chance at winning the game. But look for this Green Bay Packers team to look for a bounce back after they lost against the Detroit Lions on Thursday night last week, and I am predicting that the Green Bay Packers get the victory in this one, as I believe they'll lean on their rushing attack with running back Josh Jacobs already having over 1,000 yards rushing and 11 rushing touchdowns on the year. I think the Green Bay Packers will get the victory here in Week 15. And finally, to complete Week 15, we see two games on Monday night as we first have the Chicago Bears traveling to take on the Minnesota Vikings, and Minnesota opens up as a 7-point favorite in this primetime matchup in the NFC North, and we see this Vikings offense is on fire with quarterback Sam Darnold having over 3,000 yards passing on the season with 28 passing touchdowns, and he's getting running back Aaron Jones really involved in the offensive game plan as he's close to breaking 1,000 yards rushing, and not to mention wide receiver Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison are breaking out as one of the best wide receiving duos in the NFL today as they go up against a Chicago Bears team that is reeling with rookie quarterback Caleb Williams starting to get the flow going on offense, but the defense for Chicago has been letting them down as of late, as Tim Reynolds Show is predicting the Minnesota Vikings will get the victory here on Monday Night Football in Week 15 to improve their playoff chances, as they're already at 11-2 and 6-1 at home, and they're trying to get the number 1 seed, but they'll have to get around the Detroit Lions if they want that one. Then next up on Monday night, we see the Atlanta Falcons at 6-7 traveling to take on the Las Vegas Raiders, and we see Atlanta opens up as a 4-point favorite in this matchup, as the Las Vegas Raiders will have a new starting quarterback, possibly with quarterback Aiden O'Connell going going out in last week's game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but he reportedly has a knee bone bruise, so we'll have to see if he's able to suit it up for the Las Vegas Raiders. But if not, they'll have to go with quarterback Desmond Ridder in this ball game as they go up against the Atlanta Falcons team with quarterback Kirk Cousins hoping to get back on the winning track of things, as he's had 8 interceptions and 0 touchdown passes in his last 4 games played. So he'll have to change that statistic if he wants a chance to lead this Falcons offense to a victory. But even with the struggles that this Atlanta offense has been going through, Tim Reynolds Show is still predicting that the Atlanta Falcons will get the victory over the Las Vegas Raiders in this matchup, as I expect it to be a close one, but I really do think that Kirk Cousins and this Atlanta Falcons offense will be able to score more points than the Las Vegas Raiders offense to get the victory here in Week 15. And this has been your NFL Week 15 previews and predictions from Tim Reynolds Show. Please make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel and leave some comments to let me know what you guys thought of this NFL Week 15 preview and predictions on Tim Reynolds Show. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and leave me some comments on what you guys think of all the content here on Tim Reynolds Show. Appreciate all the support, guys. Peace out, everybody. Have a great day.